What's up, guys? Man on the Moon here with another video. Today I got another character build guide for you. We're going to be doing the homie Titan. Now, as usual, I will be going over skills I upgraded, what I leveled them up to, why I did what I did. The combat mods I suggest using, and kind of just the reasoning behind it. And then the weapons that I have used and tested out on him. Um, but before we get to that, I'd like to remind you guys to like and subscribe. I've been on my grind lately, and it's a lot of that's just because you guys have been motivating me to make more stuff and do more. So for all of you new subscribers, thank you. For all you guys that have been here for ages, thank you. But we're gonna get into it. All right, now first up, obviously, just check and make sure. Yeah, okay, so he doesn't have any skill upgrades that you actually need to upgrade for his rush or his signature, so that's good. Now with his passives, I did max pretty much everything. The only one I didn't max was the Order's Focus 1 and 2. I left those at level 9 mainly just because of the fact that if you're not using him on an NWO team, it's kind of pointless. It's essentially just a chance to give himself focus every turn. And it saves you from having to use the Madeline and the Maddox. But with it being up to 9 on both of those, you still end up with, a 36% chance. So even if it is just buffing himself, if you're not using him within any other NWO, he still has a 36% chance of just getting focus every turn. And that's not terrible. I mean, that's worth at least going up to 9 for. As far as agility 1 and 2, obviously you want that extra basic attack damage. Granted, that does not affect his rush at all, because his rush deals damage versus doing an attack, a basic attack of X amount of damage. So, but his signature does do an attack and then his basic attack, so it's only his rush that won't work on. Adventurous is probably the most important one, I would say. This character gets 20% trait damage against alert, tough, and strong targets, and then advantageous 2, you get an extra 40%, so it ends up being 60% trait damage against alert, tough, and strong teammates. That one is just that's really important for him. As far as monstrous goes, this character kills an enemy. It ends up being 80% chance up to 2 other teammates get stunned for 1 turn. It's not amazing, but because it's dependent on him actually getting a kill. But it is really good for when he gets that kill, especially because it's 2 enemies, and it's an 80% chance. It might not be a guarantee, but that's pretty much as close as you're going to get to a guarantee. Obviously, those stuns could be resisted, but that's a different thing altogether. All right, now as far as his mods go, I didn't actually go quite as glass cannon. I mean, I don't have anything to boost his defense or HP, but there's not the crit damage mod and not the double. I didn't double down on attack versus. I mainly set him up to be able to take down those meta tough defenses at the moment. Attack set, attack on attack, attack versus tough, and then the attack wall impaired that's all obvious. I mean, the attack on attack isn't really like focused towards tough or anything specifically, but the attack while impaired and the attack versus tough, that's just completely trying to counter those tough teams. Plus, he's got the extra 40% attack versus tough from his passive. And then I doubled down on resist mods, mainly because there's a lot of taunt out there at the moment, so you kind of need taunt resist. But the worst thing that can happen to one of your decaps is gotta be when they're confused and they kill one of your own teammates. So like for me, decaps or beheading tunes, or I mean honestly, even most of the time crosshair or headhunters, they're normally going to have crosshair resist, or not crosshair. They're normally going to have confuse resist, just because I don't want them like nuking my own team. A lot of the times I do use revives on attack, and if like I'm gonna have somebody kill my own team, I want to at least be able to pick them back up. So I'm kind of just countering like the meta control, which is a lot of taunt. I'm countering Steve specifically is what that confuse resist is there for. Like I don't want Titan killing, my Lydia or something like, you don't want your Titan killing your Kenny. So that's kind of my thought process behind it. And I mean, he will hit. He can really smack these tough tunes around with this build right here. Especially if he actually does get impaired. Like, obviously if he's impaired, he's not going to be able to do his rush, which is that sucks. But he hits so hard with basic attacks with this mod, with that attack while impaired mod, and the attack versus tough. He hits tough tunes so hard. Alright, now as far as the weapons go, I've tried a couple different things out, and I've played around with him in a few different teams. Obviously, his base weapon is amazing if you're running an NWO team. That being said, if you're not running an NWO team, that 4 slot is completely useless, and like you're essentially just losing out on a whole 4 slot. Also though, it's too good to take away, right? Because like just because you're not using Titan in a NWO team right now doesn't mean that 2 weeks down the line you decide, you finally get your trader up to snuff, and you decide to actually make that team. You don't want to have to like go back and reset the weapon. So I just personally, with his base weapon, I just maxed it 45% attack, huge bonus to AP, left the 3rd and 4th slots, and called it a day. Because as far as an NWO team, that's a really good weapon. Now, for a non-NWO team where you are looking at needing extra control, but not necessarily using a Titan as your main damage dealer, I would go with... This is what I did with that Louisville Slugger that we got in a crate. I mean, it was an option in a crate maybe a month or 2 ago. It came with strong attacks on it, but I already had multiple strong attack weapons, so I swapped the strong attacks for 1535 and just maxed out the attack. And I mean, yeah, I'm sacrificing AP, which is unfortunate, but I wanted as much attack on it as possible. Plus, it's an improved heal stun weapon, obviously, with 60% chance to stun and regain 25% HP for 2 turns. I really like this weapon. I use this weapon on a lot of my teams. Harper uses this weapon in my main attack team. But it works pretty well on Titan as well, as long as you're not trying to have him be your main damage dealer. And finally, if you are trying to have him be your main damage dealer, I would go something like this bottom one here. This is a katana, one of just the katanas, the basic katanas that starts with very large AP and 30% attack. I added the bonus attack plus 45% attack when attacking enemies of more than 50% HP and 1535. That bonus attack does affect his signature move, so you can get a super hard hit off turn 1 with him. With this weapon right here. Like a lot of times you can get a kill turn. Like I could get a kill on Andre with that weapon turn 1. You know, because the normalize comes first on his signature move. I really like this weapon probably more than anything for a non-NWO team. As much as I do use I have tested out with that Louisville Slugger and with the, you know, improved heal stun. I would rather have Titan doing more damage on that turn 1 with his signature move than to just have extra control in there. Normally I've got like if I actually need control, that's just not what I'm looking for from Titan specifically. There's one team that I built that he does use this weapon, but he's not the main damage dealer in that team. That team was mainly Kenny and Lydia doing work. But yeah, those are the 3 weapons that I've really kind of tested him out on him. And they all work. I would say the first 2 are very situational because, like I said, if you're not running an NWO team, you don't want to use his base weapon. And if you're not like desperate for control, you probably don't want to use a stun weapon. You want to use a bonus attack weapon most of the time. That's just, I've found it guarantees a lot more. Even with that heal stun being the improved version and it's a 60% chance, that bonus attack is going to happen turn 1 every single time. And it's just really good. Alright guys, so that's all I got for this video today. That was my character build guide for Titan. I hope it helped you out. I hope it gave you some ideas, maybe just made you rethink what you might want to do with yours if you haven't, you know, if you're just about to get him, or even just something to think about with the new meta. That attack while impaired mod is really good on him. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below, what is your Titan at? Like what grade do you have him at? What teams do you use him on? And what do you like? If you saw anything that you do super differently with your setup, let me know. Yeah, that's all I got for today. Thank you for watching the video, and remember guys, it is a game, so try and have fun. This is going to be your friendly neighborhood man on the moon, signing off. Later, guys.